Yes, thank you, Mokwe. I'm actually excited to hear what the two of them will have to say about performance. Why should anyone vote for PDP at this time, given what we have heard over the past 16 years and the fact that no one really has a clear idea of what the PDP government will do for Nigerians going forward? What is the plan for the people, other than the accusations that we have heard and all the rot and all? What is the plan to make life better for Nigerians in concrete terms, please?
Look, we have repeated. Look, I'm sure that if I say it now, the same question will be asked tomorrow. You don't have a plan. We already have a lot policy document papers. The candidate campaigns on it at all times on the issues from each state to state. The issues of priority to particular state are mentioned. But you know, people just like this idea of portraying the fact they are not talking about. What are the issues? I told you that, look, the greatest, the most critical element in governance, it is nationhood. Look, that is prior to anything you want to do. If you have crisis, if Nigeria is burning, how are you going to fight corruption in that environment or what? And in any case, look, so all these things, and it was attributing post or no post, that the fact that, how will you know that they didn't go to the grassroots? And the reason that was earlier on, I don't want to go on speculating about post or no post. This government identified 3 issues. Mm-hmm. A president seeking, in this kind of re-election, a president seeking re-election, that election is a referendum on the incumbent, you know. And so that is the central issue. It is not that, I mean, you keep on hearing, you want me to talk about...
Let me help you. Let's be more specific, because you said that, you know, your presidential candidate is campaigning on policy and he's reiterating it. But in more, I mean, my colleague asked you in more concrete terms. Okay. So let me be more specific. Say, for instance, in the issue of security, you have berated this government for not doing enough on security, and you've talked about insurgency resurfacing in the northeast. What is your candidate going to do different, for instance, than what this government has already done?
Okay, listen. They are in economy, for instance, right? He has had the policy on economy, right?
I think about security.
You want to talk security?
Yes.
Of course, he would take a look at the extant situation. And when you look at it, and he has said so, that a lot of what is wrong with with security, especially in those places that are bedeviled by serious crisis, is actually a large part of it comes from poor leadership, corruption and poor leadership of the military hierarchy, which has resulted in, you know, the rank and file, you know, deserting their positions and all kind of things. We all read about these stories. So that is, you have to focus on that. That this is a failure, you know, that has entrenched. You have a look, and I don't know how good it is to go into the intricacies of military or no military. The President Chief of Army Staff, for instance, is cosmate, or whatever they call them, have retired. There is about 2 or 3 generations between him and the next in line. So there is that gap. You ought to have retired by now. So those are the kind of things you have to look at. But again, you cannot divulge security from employment, from welfare. So that's an aspect from which you have to attack it. Unemployment, and I do mind, is vulnerable to all kinds of temptations, negative temptations to do this kind of thing. So they are intertwined, you know. But as I said, the point I want to stress more and more fact is that, look, you need to normalize, and you cannot actually divest one from the other. That is the political situation from the economic situation, social. That's why people talk about social political or social economy. You need to normalize the country.
Let me get Ayo's reaction now and see if Ayo, over to you. Are you satisfied or?
Well, clearly I'm not satisfied, Mokwe, but let me go to Honorable Ibrahim. I don't. Same question to you, but maybe in a different way. You are the government in power today, and as we speak, if you go to the streets of urban Nigeria, there's a lot of complaining that things are not going as fast as you promised. You promised change, and the only thing that has changed is their bank balances down, and life is not as comfortable and as convenient as people would want it to be. So why should the people of Nigeria give you a second chance?
A good question, and I have a good response for you. Do you think the 9 million children being fed by this administration as part of the home school feeding program will their parents and the kids will reject President Muhammadu Buhari? Do you think the pensioners that are being paid at the moment by the PTAD, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, paying NITAL, MTAL, ex-pensioners, Savannah Sugar pensioners, Delta Steel Company, New Nigerian Newspaper Company, and lots of government-owned companies that were collapsed? Do you think these pensioners, their families, their kids will reject President Muhammadu Buhari in the next election? Do you think 9 million children and their parents who are now being fed will reject President Muhammadu Buhari? Do you think most of the infrastructure development across the states, do you think people will reject President Muhammadu Buhari by seeing these projects with their own eyes on ground? And do you think people in the Northeast especially, and in the parts of the South that are being bedeviled by criminals in the creeks, blasting oil pipelines, it's now history. If you go to the Northeast, Bauchi is peaceful, Yobe is peaceful, Taraba is peaceful, Adamawa is peaceful, even Maiduguri, as I'm talking to you, and some parts of Borno, and many parts of Borno are peaceful. Do you think the Northeast will reject President Muhammadu Buhari? Do you think the farmers that are being supplied with fertilizers directly from fertilizer companies, which were being revived by the federal government in collaboration with the state governments, do you think these farmers will reject President Muhammadu Buhari?
I'm giving you a response. That's understood.